So Frank, tell me about Audrey.
Well, Audrey is Kathy's mom, my mother-in-law. This picture here shows Kathy, my wife, and then this is Audrey, her mom, my mother-in-law, and Kathy's brother Michael and sister Jennifer. When Kathy and I moved to Round Top, her mom also moved here about a year and a half later and has lived just the other side of town, maybe a mile away. And as Mom got older, she turned 90 a year and a half ago. And about at that time we started thinking it'd be good if we could have Mom move in with us as she gets into these later years. The only problem was our guest bedrooms were upstairs and the stairs were a little bit challenging. So we got together, Kathy and I, with Chris Travis, and we designed an addition to this home for another master bedroom. That way we could have Mom take over our old bedroom, which is at the end of this hallway, and Chris designed a addition to the rear of our study here for the new master bedroom. And it took us about 7 or 8 months to build that. We finished it up in the spring of this year, and that's about the time that Kathy's mom really started getting weak and having a hard time taking care of herself. So it was good timing. We got the new addition done just in time so that Mom could move in. I think it was around May of this year she moved in with us. In June she turned 91, and about 5 weeks later she passed away. But she did have a couple of months to live in the bedroom that we provided for her by building the new one, and it was a great way to accommodate her last stages of life and to have all the family around her. If anybody's going to pass away, and we all are, I think it's great to be able to do that in the care of your family members at home. So having the bedroom was a big blessing, and thanks to Chris for designing that for us.
So this is Kathy's kitchen. And Kathy is the commander of the entertaining ship. What she does is she sits right here and all of her friends gather over in the sitting area over there. And she has a 3-ring circus going in this kitchen. And all of her guests are out on the porch. Many others are in the dining room where we have the big opening there. And so she's not comfortable unless she can see that everyone is having a good time. The important thing about this is not just that Kathy's a gracious hostess. This is actually a way that Kathy maintains her own sense of control in her reality. And it's been built, like I said before, out of her childhood experience. About what occurred was that many times in her childhood, or at least many times in her memory of her childhood, her very gracious mother, Audrey, and her brothers and sisters would be gathered on the dining table. They were Catholic and they would have prayer, and very commonly her father would become angry or upset about something and disrupt what was otherwise a very pleasant situation. And this happened enough times that Kathy became very upset about this particular circumstance in her life, and she made a decision. These are like decisions like many of us made during our childhood that seem very traumatic to us, but really they might not even be a major thing, only something major when you're 6 or 7 or 8 years old. But she decided that she was not going to have that kind of disruption in her life. And the rest of her life, we discovered while we were working on her home, she lived out of that choice she made when she was that young. And so when she grew up, she actually became an event planner. She began to professionally deliver graciousness and order and civility to people. And she was paid to do it. She ran an advertising agency, and she would create, pitches and banners for people that created that for home builders and created it for people who built living spaces. And so when we came to her design project, we began to see that this was a central organizing principle around what it would take for her to be happy. And it directly affected the open floor plan and the windows and the kind of environment that it was. And the most kind of unusual aspect of this was in the middle of the process, she required that there be a window built directly above her stove, which is, in all the years I've built, the first time I've ever seen this done, so that she could look out the window and make sure all her guests on the porch were just fine.
if that sense of failure, if that sense of resignation was not there, and then we just start speculating and creating, like, what could you put in that? Who do you never get to be in this area of your life? Who do you never get to be in the area of your kitchen?
Another special place that means a lot to Kathy and Frank, especially Kathy, is rural Italy. As she became more successful, in her adulthood, she continued to visit Italy and loved the relaxed lifestyle and the way people entertain here. So, and when we were speaking earlier about what places had great emotional connections for her, then one of them was small towns in Italy. So this particular entryway was created to sort of bring that effect. So it has the antique pavers on the ground. It's really meant to be a narrow little Italian street. Of course, it doesn't look exactly like that, but it creates the effect emotionally for her. So when she's in this space, it gives her that sense of the rich lifestyle of Italy. And then as we went into the tall ceilings, you'll notice that there are windows out of the second floor bedrooms. Those are sashes that can be swung out. And you could go, hey, what's the matter with you down there? You know. So that's exactly what this is to Kathy. This is a little Italian street. And if you'll look over here on the wall, you'll see that there's a piece of art that actually got placed by her after the house was built. I knew nothing about it, but this is one of her prized paintings. You'll notice it's suitable to the space.
And like, so my stand is that people around me, the people that work with me, get present to their own greatness and who they are for the world, who they are for themselves, who they are for the people that they love and love them. And, I think that's the biggest gift you can give somebody, is letting that show up, is giving that space to show up.
This is a wall. A wall is something, if I want to walk through a wall, I'm not very successful at doing that. It's a limitation, it's a barrier, it's a separation. There are also walls in your head. Here's an example. I don't have enough money. I can't do it. Well, I'm just not good at that. Those are walls too. When you begin creating a home, then these walls come up for everyone. Just like this wall, the view that you are insufficient to the task, or that your finances are insufficient to the task, creates a barrier between you and what you want.